with Kristen Ward.
Over 50,000 pumpkins were delivered here. There's no way Santa's skipping this house. Speaking of winning, farm technology is one of those ways farmers can meet that demand. And now Eric, he just won last week. All righty, Matt and Jason, got a good one for you tonight. It's a sweet end to what some feel is a bitter election. We're at San Angelo Stadium again, and be sure to come out and join us and cheer on those Bobcats. Common child safety seat errors include installing the seat too loosely, leaving the harness straps too loose, and positioning the chest clip incorrectly. This was the scene Wednesday afternoon on the steps of the Tom Green County Courthouse.
Back up.
The events leading up to this moment began a little more than a year ago in March of 2016. San Angelo police responded to the 1100 block of East 22nd Street. They found two gunshot victims, 17-year-old Juan Guerrero and 16-year-old Zane Lopez.
Justice for Juan.
6 suspects were charged in the case with capital murder of multiple persons. A plea hearing was held Wednesday for one of the defendants, 18-year-old Fred Angel Garcia. Garcia pled guilty to a lesser charge of murder. In return for the guilty plea, he was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Although the mother of one of the victims felt that amount of time was not long enough.
This is a slap in the face to me and my family, as well as my son's loved ones. It's not fair. He should be getting life in prison, if not the death penalty.
District Attorney Allison Palmer explained how the state evaluates cases and makes plea deals similar to that of Garcia's.
There are various factors we take into consideration. Those factors will include, certainly, the nature and circumstances of the offense. Those factors also include the age and criminal history of the offender.
All these cases right here are people that had no prior records, and they're doing capital murder cases, and they're getting life in prison. And this kid here is getting 35 years for the life of 2 people that were taken.
Palmer says there are no 2 cases that are identical.
There's actually quite a bit of a kind of a calculus involved in comparing one type of case and offender in a sentence received from a jury to another.
Following the hearing, a fight broke out on the courthouse lawn between family members of those involved in the case.
Please leave.
During the altercation, sheriff's deputies took one teen into custody. He was later released to his mother and issued a citation for disturbing the peace.
It was amazing. It was everything I hoped it would be and 20 times more.
For Bridget Carr, this is a journey that started when she was still a young girl.
So that's a picture of me riding in the Saddle Club on my little horse Trigger when I was 6 years old.
6 years old?
Yes.
Already fully involved in this rodeo?
Yes, I've loved it ever since the time I crawled on a horse. It's just been in my blood.
From the Saddle Club to the calf scramble to posting colors in the arena as an ambassador, Bridget's history with the rodeo runs deep.
I always like to be a part of the San Angelo Stock Show and Rodeo.
That love would be passed on. Last year, at the age of 6, Bridget's son, Bryce, found himself carrying Old Glory to the center of the arena.
There's nothing that's just more prideful than seeing your son in the arena. He's like me. He loves rodeo. He just loves being here and being a part of it. And he's a little bit of a ham, so that doesn't hurt either.
But she was still hoping to be part of the rodeo in one more way.
Just to be able to run in the performances here has been a dream of mine since I was 6. It's hard and it's really tough to get into the performances here. Everybody wants to run here.
And for the first time, that dream became a reality.
The San Angelo Rodeo has always been important in my life, and to get to run here is very emotional, and to get to support my family and my city, to ride to glorify my mom who passed away in February last year, and to just glorify her and make her proud, make her smile down on me.
Bridget and her horse, Adios, earned their run under the big lights in her hometown, making San Angelo proud.
He did amazing. He ran in time that probably would have placed us had we not pulled that barrel down, so I'm so excited with how he performed for me. I pray to the good Lord above that I get to come back.
Now to a story of inspiration, a tribute to all the little ones born before their time. Those tiny preemies fighting to stay alive, born on the cusp of viability. Blake Coing was considered to be a micro-preemie. Her journey has been marked by ups and downs, but ultimately Blake is defying the odds. This is her story.
We had loved her so much since we found out that I was pregnant. Seeing her during that first ultrasound, we just knew that she was going to be special.
As with most micro-preemies, life had a harrowing start for Blake.
Our OB said, you know, if you want your daughter to live, if you want your baby to live, we have to go to the OR right now.
Born at just 24 weeks and weighing less than 2 pounds, the tiny girl fought to survive.
She was just teeny and so fragile. You could actually see her heart beating through her chest.
She was intubated, she was on a ventilator. I mean, you could hardly see her because they had her bundled up with blankets and, I mean, all the wires and tubes.
For weeks on end, the only contact the Koenigs had with their baby was through a plastic box. They couldn't hold her, and they could barely touch her through the ventilator opening because her skin was so thin and delicate.
So you want to help her, and you want to make her feel better, and you want to hold her, and you just want to make everything okay, and we couldn't do that. We just had to sit there and kind of watch, which was hard.
Doctors were frank with the couple about Blake's prospects.
The first nurses and doctors that came and talked to us
Told us that she would probably not have any quality of life. The next OB that came on, she said, you know, it is going to be hard. If you want to fight, let's fight. And that's what we did.
Babies born at this age usually go home around their original due date, which makes for a lengthy stay in the NICU.
Walking behind a mom taking her baby home is so hard, and it hurts so bad to leave for 112 days, to leave and not get to take your baby. But on that last day, you take her home, and it's an amazing feeling.
Just look at her now.
Tell me some big words.
Blake is an 8-month-old giggling and smiling baby girl.
Are you a pretty happy baby?
We found out when she was born that she had a huge knot in her cord. So had she not been born, she may not be here with us today. So it may have just been the biggest blessing of our life that she came that early.
My father passed away probably, at that time, it was a little over a year.
We from the beginning have said that he was her guardian angel and just got her through all of this. So this was in her isolette.
Yeah.
After overcoming countless obstacles, this brave little soul is growing up strong and healthy.
You showing off your guns?
But she has fought from the beginning.
Everything was, just stacked up against her.
We knew she was a fighter.
She beat all of those odds.
She laughs at statistics. She does not care. I am just so obsessed with that little girl. She is just the biggest miracle.
The Koenigs chose to share their experience to give hope to families of premature babies, along with a realistic look at what lies ahead in their journey, and to show that miracles can happen.
Live from San Angelo's News Channel, this is KSAN News at 6.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kristen Ward. 3 people were detained while law enforcement searched for heroin this afternoon in an apartment on the north side of downtown. It started around 3 o'clock when the police department's Street Crimes Division executed a search and arrest warrant at a unit in the Magdalene Arms apartment complex. 2 males and 1 female were detained at the scene while officials searched the residence. Charges are pending. This is an ongoing investigation with no additional information at this time. Testimony continued today in the trial of a former San Angelo bail bondsman charged with forgery and theft. News Connection's Deja Baird has the latest from the Tom Green County Courthouse.
55-year-old.
The Hearts for the Homeless campaign is continuing efforts to walk members of the San Angelo homeless community through a process which would take them off the streets. The group discussed providing peer counseling to establish a relationship with those who are chronically homeless. Bob Salas, Director of Neighborhood and Family Services, says a city the size of San Angelo can spend up to $1 million helping out the homeless population, and that resources are available. However, a lot of the homeless choose not to take advantage of those resources. Nonetheless, organizers say they will continue to do whatever they can to help.
They need to be pursued. Jesus pursued people to show them that he...
Group organizers are training peer counselors who want to help with the effort. It's National Nurses Week, and Shannon Medical Center is honoring its nursing staff with a week's worth of appreciation activities. The week-long celebration included a reception today to recognize the service nurses provide to patients and the contributions they make to the community. Shannon Medical Center and Shannon Clinic together have more than 1,500 nursing staff.
Nurses are the hands of the hospital.
National Nurses Week begins each year on May 6th and ends on May 12th. During their general membership meeting this afternoon at Bentwood Country Club, the Home Builders Association of San Angelo presented the proceeds from a recent fundraiser to Habitat for Humanity. Last month, HBA organized the Parade of Homes. The event showcased the talents and innovative ideas of several local home builders and allowed members of the community to stroll the halls of 9 custom-designed homes.
We really appreciate the fact that they support us in trying to work toward.
John James, the city's Planning and Development Services Director, was the featured guest speaker at today's luncheon. The HEB on Sherwood Way in San Angelo unveiled its new uniquely designed sheep statue this afternoon. It's all part of the citywide Sheep Spectacular Art Project. The fiberglass statue is embellished with brightly colored produce grown in the Lone Star State, and it will be on permanent display in front of the store. HEB also presented a $2,500 scholarship to the Angelo State University student who designed the art piece.
Just wanted to think about all the things that are unique to Texas.
For a chance to win a $100 HEB gift card, customers can enter a week-long contest to name the store's sheep. The National Association of Letter Carriers is joining forces with the United Way and the Food Bank to stamp out hunger in the Concho Valley. The 25th anniversary Stamp Out Hunger food drive kicked off today at the Concho Valley Regional Food Bank. Individuals who would like to contribute may do so by leaving non-perishable food items by their mailboxes on Saturday, when letter carriers will collect the donations during their regular routes.
If you're happening to go to the grocery store either, Friday night or early Saturday morning.
Through local agencies, the food bank serves about 80,000 individual meals every month. And still to come on KSAN News, dozens of area track and field athletes will be heading out to Austin for the state track and field meet this week. Jason Bridge has more on that coming up later in sports, but first, let's check in with Matt over in the Weather Lab. Hopefully he has some good news for us allergy sufferers.
I actually do. Let's take a look at your allergen outlook brought to you by Shannon Clinic.
This is KSAN News at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for KSAN News at 10. I'm Kristen Ward. First for you tonight, a San Angelo man tried to get away from officers during a police pursuit. That eventually ended when the suspect drove himself to jail. It started shortly after 6 o'clock this evening. Today was a busy one downtown at the Tom Marie County Courthouse. A man convicted of murder just 2 months ago in the 2015 death of David Titus appeared in court asking for a new trial. One of Stefano Colbrest's defense attorneys argued this afternoon that a San Angelo family has lost their home after a fire swept through the house overnight, leaving it completely destroyed. Roughly around 3 o'clock this morning, additional violations included no insurance and driving with an invalid license. More students will soon be able to live on ASU's campus. Come 2018, the university will have a lot of new additions. Susanna Castillo shows us the campus construction.
Walk on Angelo State campus.
Businesses are celebrating travel and tourism today in San Angelo. The Chamber of Commerce sponsored the annual tourism luncheon this afternoon. And still to come on KSAN News, the Angelo State Rams are set to host the Lone Star Conference Tournament this week. Jason Bridge has more on that coming up later in sports, but first, let's check in with Matt over in the Weather Lab.
Thanks a lot, Kristen.